Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, Relapse Tackle. We're going to be painting with some more Stardust. I had a request to paint with some glow pigments. So I'm going to use a white base coat and then paint it with this glow pink. And then use the crystal clear finish over top of it. Please watch the whole video, and if you haven't already, please subscribe. So I only had this one container. All my other containers are filled up full of other Stardust products, so I kind of had to keep dumping it back out into the other containers that they sent the powder in. I had to grab a Teflon pin. These are 1/8 inch Teflon pins. I like to use them for pouring and painting. And trying to figure out where my magnet was on my bench. I got magnets underneath so that it's a little harder for my torch to tip over. So I'm checking out the jig to make sure that there's no flaws with it before I start heating it up. I heat it up with the torch pretty close to the flame there, so it's almost into the blue part of the flame. Get the lead real hot so it almost starts to melt, gets a little shiny. And typically I let these cool down a little bit longer, and I'm not really worried about, there's a few spots that weren't covered with the white. I'm not really worried about it because it's just a base coat, and as long as most of it is covered, it'll help brighten up the glow pigment a little bit. So I'm going to dump this back in the container, brush it out, and then fill it up with the glow pink. Another thing to mention, the glow pink and maybe the other glow colors, I'm not sure, it kind of has more of a granule texture to it. It's almost like, feels almost like sandpaper. So I do like using the crystal clear varnish over top of it, so it smooths it out, makes it nice and shiny. But you don't need to put that on it, and when it's in the water, I'm sure it's plenty shiny and durable. So I'm cleaning up the excess paint that's on the hook shank and then the hook eye using a flush cutter. Sometimes it is easy to peel it off, and other times it's pretty difficult. So I'm going to poke this through just to make sure that line tie, the hook eye, stays clear. Since I'll be dipping this guy 3 times, I really want to make sure that it stays clear. Usually I make a lot more than one jig at a time, so I would do the same process to several of them, put them on my rack to cool, and then just keep moving through the process. So, and I would also use more than 1 cup, so I wouldn't have to mix or dump back and forth. So let this cool down again. And it's kind of nice the way I'm doing it, though, is I'm letting it cool down a little bit. So by dumping it in the container and keeping the video moving. So now I want to make sure I get as much of this out as possible. I don't want a lot of this pink stuff in with the clear, because then all my jigs that I make from now on will have a little pink in them. Careful around the flame, you don't want to burn yourself. So there's still quite a bit left in this larger container. And I'll show at the end of the video too what it looks like when it's all finished. And I did put together a skirt for it using some material from fishingskirts.com and the Stardust. Got that from Lurecraft. So again, I'm gonna poke the eyelet out. I have my exhaust on and stuff too, so I'm pulling any fumes and stuff up and out. So now, when I do the clear finish though, I'd like to mention too the clear finish. It like glued that Teflon pin in pretty well. This stuff is some pretty crazy stuff. Goes on, you know, somewhat thick, not real thick, but I really like it. Extremely durable. Nice shine. Right here it's not done yet though, so it's not shiny. So I'll put that back in that container. And then I will grab a 1/8 inch clear fiber weed guard and my Loctite Ultra Gel and glue that in after heating this jig up again one more time. You can see it's stuck in there pretty good, so it didn't cool down quite enough. If I was doing several other jigs, it would have gave it more time and it would have cooled down, and then the Teflon pin probably would have slid right out. But there's quite a bit of heat still left in the lead, so it's kind of, the paint was kind of loose around the pin, so I didn't want to just rip it out of there either and damage the paint below it. So here I'm just going to pick this stuff off and give that a little bit more time. And then I also forgot to fill up my water cup. I usually keep a container with a little bit of water here in my little work area to chill jigs down if I need to. But I would not chill it with water between the different coats because you don't want that moisture on it. If it was completed, then it would be okay to chill it. Or if you wanted to, you could take some different scents, so like garlic or anise oil or something, and you can mix that in with your water and then chill it in that, and then that'll absorb into the paint a little bit. So each one of these colors that I'm putting on, I'm holding it a little further away from the flame because I don't want to damage the paint or have it blend out. And then with the 3D eyes that I'm putting in here, the nice thing about this paint is when it's hot, you can place the 3D eyes in the paint and press them in, you don't need glue, and that really just sinks them right in there. They get a little paint around the edge, and they will not come off. I've not had any of them come off on any of the lures that I've made and tested myself. So, in this, I'm doing over top of the clear. I'm not putting clear over top of the eyes. Some eyes, if you put too much heat into them, it can mess them up. So you kind of have to get a knack for when to place them. You don't want to put them in there when that paint is really hot, but just hot enough where they're able to sink into the paint and look good, so they don't get curled up or nothing. And like I said, some eyes, you'll find some eyes that are not good for the process, and when you find good ones, keep ordering the good ones. And unfortunately, I'm still working on some of my old stuff that sometimes isn't the greatest. So, but like I said, you gotta learn what is too much heat and what's not. So, and even the crappy ones, you learn to not have too much heat into the paint, and you don't have problems with the eyes, even the crappy ones. So I decided to put a little black on the bottom, and that was over top of the clear. You could put that under the clear, but the black is shiny, so it's not really needed. And you don't really need the clear over it unless you want just a little extra coat over your paint and even more durable. So, and like I said, no water. So here's the 1/8" fiber weed guard I'm grabbing out of the bin. I really like this storage system I got in here, and then the Loctite Ultra Gel. And you want to put the smallest amount as possible. And as you see, I was just checking my finger to see how hot the paint was there. If it was too hot, then I wouldn't stick my fiber weed guard in, because they're really heat sensitive. They'll curl up and look pretty crappy too. So just take your time, and it's all a learning process if you're new to it, you know. And even people that have been making jigs for a long time, you know, learn new things. All right, thanks again for watching. Here it is with the black light or UV light, and then I'll shut the light off and you can see her glow. It does glow pink. It does not glow like your super glow white, where it would be green. You know, it's pink. It kind of looks a little green at the front with the black that I added in there, but all in all, really good paint, easy to use, and thanks again for watching. Please subscribe.